Hi everyone and welcome to my presentation. Today I'm going to introduce my CLIL lesson based on my written assignments where I integrated the causes of the second word in the target language, more in particular in English, as you can see. And I want to introduce by showing how I will start the actual class. This class is going to be in the first course of Bachillerato, corresponding to the first course of the A levels according to the British curriculum. So my students already have a previous knowledge of the topic, so the content is not going to be totally new. Therefore, I want to know what is their previous knowledge, if they can remember any particular name, any particular date, that it can be used in the following stages of the lesson, and also to introduce the topic. As the main objective of this first slide is also to draw attention from them and to be able to introduce and create a positive atmosphere. The objectives of this lesson will cover several elements. I want to present the topic in the target language. Also, as I said, to get to know the prior knowledge of them about the second word, to develop a learning autonomy and reflection of the processes, to introduce famous names, dates, and important elements of the second word, understand the oral input of the second word, express coherent information, and to create discussion, and to help students to understand that learning can be achieved in this language. The assessment criteria is going to be the following one. By the end of the unit, learners will be able to demonstrate the understanding of the causes of the second word, to show in a comprehensive understanding of the phases, to distinguish names, ideologies, and countries involved, to classify information and interpret written and recorded information about the second word, to interact and create debate, and to ask and respond to WH questions about their work. Also want to use the class to record vocabulary and the new words learned. Well, the competences they will acquire will be linguistic, and obviously they will get to know new structures, new vocabulary, and they will be able to produce written and oral language. They will learn by doing. They will be able to understand the processes and the phases of the word by doing exercises, by recording, and by retaining the information learned. They will be processing the information, and they will need to record and try to process the information for their long-term memory. The last competency will be the autonomy and personal initiative. In this lesson, they will work autonomously. They will work with peers, but the professor will only monitor, and the professor won't interact and stop their learning. I'm going to use the following assessment instruments. I'm going to use the rubric to evaluate their last essay based on the knowledge that they acquire about the Second World War. And as homework, I already asked them to create a glossary in an online resource to be able to maximize their learning in the class. So all of them need to bring the glossary to the actual lesson. And they will have also peer evaluation where students will assess each other and will give guidance to each other. Well, my actual lesson will be, Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Today I'm going to introduce my CLIL project as an overview, where I integrated the causes of the Second World War in the target language, as you can see in English. And I would like to start by showing how I will start the actual lesson. And this is how I will start. I will gather the information about their previous knowledge by asking and presenting this slide. This lesson is going to be oriented to students from the first course of Bachillerato, corresponding to the first course of A levels according to the British curriculum. And by means of this, I will try to draw students' attention, to introduce the topic, to be familiar with it, and to try to know as much as we can what information they remember from previous courses, and try to produce this information in the target language. As I can predict, they can have some problems to produce this information in the target language, so code switching will be it's going to be possible. Okay, so the objectives of this lesson will be to present the topic in the target language, to get to know the prior knowledge as we see in the previous slide, to develop learning autonomy and reflection about the processes, to use the correct lexical element to select the appropriate lexis, to use the appropriate inflection of the verbs and of the gender and number, and to use grammar correctly. One also to introduce famous names and dates, to understand oral input, to express in a current way the information, and to value this language as a means of communication. I want to create discussion in the target language and to help learners to understand that learning can be achieved in English. Well, the assessment criteria that I'm intending is the following one. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to demonstrate a deep understanding of the causes of the Second World War, to showing a comprehensive understanding of all phases, to distinguish names, ideologies, and countries, to classify the information, to interpret written and recorded information about the Second World War, to interact and create debate, to ask and respond WH questions, and to use class vocabulary in the not only in the debate but also in the final assignment that they need to do. Well, It's really important to achieve the following competences within this lesson. The first one is the linguistic one. I want them to get to know the structures, the vocabulary, and to produce meaningful utterances in the target language. The second one is learning by doing. Students will be acquire this knowledge by doing exercises, by processing the information from the listening, and to learn how to write a formal essay with the information presented. The third one is processing the information. Students need to process and to understand how they need to apply the strategies, how they can maintain and retain this information for a long term aspect, for a long term memory. They will work autonomously, and they will need to show personal initiative by participating in the debate, by providing their knowledge at the beginning of the class, and to work without any assistance during the lesson. The assessment instruments that I'm intending to use is the rubric that I've created for the final assignment, the glossary that students need to provide for the actual lesson. It was the previous homeworks that they have, so I provided them with the online tool where they could get all the important words to be able to understand this lesson. And also I'm going to use peer evaluation with some assessments. So these are the contents of the lesson. As you can see, it's based on the 4 linguistic aspects of English: the listening, speaking, and reading and writing. Well, the phases of the activity are going to be the following ones. I will do the pre-activity, where we will try to create a mind map with all the information that they have, structure ideas of their knowledge of the Second World War. We introduce the topic with reading. Then we will focus in pre-activity for the listening task that they have. During the listening, we'll listen to an actual conversation about the Second World War, and it's going to be an actual lesson, so it's going to be familiar and in a context that they can feel confident enough. Then, by means of peer assessment, they will assess their own understanding of the listening task. And from the previous activities, they will be able to have a debate and to participate actively in showing a critical point of view. And at the end of the activity, I will introduce the instructions for the essay, where they need to write 200 words to be assessed and evaluated by me. I also am going to give them the following instructions essay, as I want them to get an organized idea. So I want them to plan the written assignment and to answer the following questions: where, when, who, what, and why. And to sum up, by means of this lesson,